Hello, my friends. I would like to share with you a recipe that I really like, which is very traditional here in Brazil. Here in Brazil, we call Palha Italiana. I'm not going to translate because it's not going to make any sense, like at all, but it's kind of a brigadeiro with some cookies. When we make the brigadeiro, at the end of it, we put a lot of cookies. So I'm not sure if you are familiar with brigadeiro. It's another traditional sweet here in Brazil that every corner you see a brigadeiro. So back to Palha Italiana, we are going to put in a pan sweet condensed milk, sure, because it is a Brazilian sweet, and in Brazilian sweets we always find sweet condensed milk. Chocolate, in this recipe right now I'm using dark chocolates, and this one is 70% because I don't like sweets very sweet, so I prefer to use with a higher percentage of cocoa. And we're going to use butter and glucose, okay? The glucose is going to avoid crystallization because sweet condensed milk is made with a lot of sugar, and once we stir it a lot, uh, maybe in a few days after the Palha Italiana is ready, is going to crystallize, okay? So to avoid that, we are going to use glucose. And at the end of it, we are going to put one package of... Before I record this video, I search on Google how to call it, because here in Brazil this is very traditional, is Maria cookies or Mary cookie. Something to consider is like that. This one is because I broke them all. But you should look for a cookie without any filling, without any topping, anything, just the cookie. And this is like milk flavor, you know. Do not use, not for this recipe, do not use a chocolate flavor, for example. You should aim for a more neutral flavor. I'm not sure if you understand, but it's quite like that, okay? So if you find in your country Maria cookie or Mary cookie, it's ideal for Palha Italiana. But what?
Palha Italiana, Italian straw.
Italian straw. Okay, we now have a translation for Palha Italiana. It's Italian what?
Straw.
Italian straw. Very nice. Are you sure about that?
Eu encontrei sendo usado em inglês, assim,
But the same sweet?
com a imagem do doce. Assim.
Ah, okay. So Italian straw. It is used in another countries or only in Brazil? Because for me, I all the time I see only in Brazil, but it might be in other countries. But okay, back to the recipe. Tomás is searching for the no, but for Palha Italiana, for Italian what?
Straw.
Straw in another country. And meanwhile, we are going to proceed with the recipe. Okay, so we are going to start by the sweet condensed milk. Just put on a pan, okay? Then chocolate. You can also use powder, okay? Just make sure you use cocoa, 100%, or chocolate, at least 50% of cocoa, okay? So, butter and glucose. If you are going to make the Palha Italiana only for your family to eat during the weekend, there's no need to add glucose, okay? Because I'm so sure you're going to eat in the same day. But if you intend to sell them, to take orders of them, I suggest you to use the glucose to avoid crystallization. Okay, so that's it. These are the first steps to make brigadeiro. If you want to make brigadeiro, you just follow those ingredients and those steps, okay? We are going to put this pan on heat, and we are going to stir it like vigorously, like you were making the pastry cream, okay?
No tomorrow.
Like there's no tomorrow. Okay. That's it. And I'm going to show you exactly how when we should stop. How is the texture to stop, okay? Because we are going to reduce this here, and after cold, we are going to be able to cut or to roll in little balls or any shape you want. But before we start, it's really important that all your cookies are broken, okay? Do not start this and stop to break all your cookies. They should be broken before. Also, when we finish, we are going to spread in a pan like this one. So make sure you put first the pan, then those plastic sheets, okay? And then those, what is his name in English?
How do you say a halo?
This, in Portuguese is aro. No, I don't know in English. But you should use one of those, okay? I really like the square shape. So, make sure,
Rim.
ring.
Rim.
Rim?
Rim.
This one. Okay, they told me this is a rim. Okay, so a rim. And then I suggest you to grease the sides, okay? So the Palha Italiana won't stick and it's going to be easier for you to remove. So pan, plastic sheet, and the rim, greased, okay? If you make three times this recipe, is exactly the size of the pan, which is 38 by 26 centimeters or 15 by 10 inches, okay? So, like I said before we start, we need to have everything prepared. The rim with the plastic sheets, the broken cookies, and now we can go. Let's go. So, we are going to start by high heat, okay? But it's really important that you put on medium heat once it starts to boil, okay? So, another thing very important is that you should stir it like a lot, okay? I'm using a rubber spatula to make sure I am scraping the bottom of the pan, and you need to focus on the bottom but also in the sides. So the movement is bottom, 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 and sides, okay? You're going to repeat this movement and it's like non-stop. Please do not stop because it's going to stick on the bottom of the pan and your brigadeiro or your palha italiana is going to get a lot of, how can I say that? Your brigadeiro is going to get really, really lumpy and is not nice because it's going to stick on your teeth and this is not really nice. So you should stir it like a lot. The chocolate is melting because of the heat and is going to start to boil in a few seconds. Once we hear the boiling sound, we are going to reduce the heat, okay? If you ever made pastry cream before, you know exactly the reason why we need to stir it vigorously. Okay, this is the boiling sound. I really hope that you are listening as I am. We're going to reduce the heat and whisk it, stir it. So when you are stirring a pan, there's always a blind side that you can't reach. So I really suggest that once your brigadeiro starts to boil, you change the side of the pan, because by doing this, you are going to reach all of your pan, okay? Sides and bottom. Bottom and sides. And by this stage, the kitchen smells amazingly. So, it's getting thicker, okay? And for you to know when it's ready, you need to make sure that the mixture is not sticking into the bottom. Like this. Can you see? So it needs to stick out from the sides and also from the bottom. If you are not familiar with this texture, with this perfect consistency, you can take a pinch with a spoon and put on the freezer, because it's going to cool faster, and you can touch and check if that's in the perfect consistency to cut and make balls, okay? So that's it. Can you see once I leave the spatula, it falls in lumpies? So that's it. It's ready. So guys, once we get the perfect consistency, I love this so much. Oh my God, I want to eat them all. We are going to put the cookies, okay, the broken cookies, all at once. And fold this. There's no need to fold too much, because if you over mix it, you're going to end up with a very heavy mixture, because the cookies are going to break more, and what we want is size like that, okay? The broken cookies. So just make sure everything is homogeneous. You should do this stage when it's still hot, okay? This is really important. Come back. I should be using a bigger pan, but it's fine. And, okay, that's it. We are going to put here straight to the rim. Let's go. Oh my God. Who wants? It's really hot. Okay. So, with an offset spatula, just spread the Palha Italiana on the rim to make sure it's all even. Lovely. It's been a while since I've made the last time the Palha Italiana, so I really want to eat this. I really like them. Okay, Do the best you can, but do not worry if that's not perfect, because we are going to shape it, okay? So it's fine. This one I'm going to eat because I really want that. So, once we finish, we are going to use the same plastic, the same kind of plastic sheet to cover it, okay? If you are making this recipe just to eat at home, you can put this in the fridge or in the freezer, because you need to have the Palha Italiana completely cool before you cut, okay? But if you are working with this recipe, if you are selling Palha Italiana, it's really important that you make in one day and then you leave in room temperature, and in the next day you cut. It's going to be like a lot easier, okay? This is very important. So let's take it to cool because I want to eat in a few minutes. Oh, sorry, we are going to finish in a few minutes, okay? So our Palha Italiana, it's cold already. It's time to finalize, okay? I'm going to remove from the tray, and I like using this kind of cutter, between a cutter and a spatula, okay? Sometimes we use it for baking to split the parts of the bread. I don't exactly know the name of it, but this utensil here, okay? And I'm going to put here, and I'm going to remove the plastic sheet and cut the sides, okay? Just to remove the rim, just to remove the rim easily. Okay, first that, and then we are going to cut the Palha Italiana. Make sure you grease the edge of it a little bit to make sure it won't stick too much, okay? So I really like this size here. So one thing you can do is to use a ruler to make sure all the sides are even, okay? So I'm not going to use a ruler because I did that 478 times and I can cut it evenly. Okay. And then the other side. Okay. Now we are going to use the same sheet to help us remove the rim. Okay. Ta-da! So, we are going to remove from the first plastic sheet that we used. My favorite way to finalize the Palha Italiana is cutting with this shape, with square shape, and putting on icing sugar. You're going to pass in the icing sugar and make sure you remove the excess of icing sugar because we don't want that very, very sweet. It's just to finalize, okay? And then you shape it a little bit to make sure it's going to be in a perfect, como é cubo? Cube. In a perfect cube. Sometimes here in Brazil, we cut in cubes like that, and then we dip in the chocolate. It tastes really good, but it's going to be extra work for you, so I prefer to do it like that. You can also finalize it with cocoa, but your Palha Italiana is going to get a bittersweet taste, okay? So you make one by one. This is why the texture of the brigadeiro is really important. Because if you underbake it, this is going to get really soft and you won't be able to shape properly like that. And if you overbake it, if you overcook it, it's going to get really hard and it's not going to have the soft texture when you eat it. I would like to tell you that Palha Italiana freezes really well. You can make this recipe. You can cut, finalize. If you want, you can wrap it with a plastic sheet and you can freeze it up to 3 months. The perfect will remain the same. You don't need to worry about that. So that's it. I'm in a very nice day today because I'm going to eat those. Me and my team here, they are super waiting for that moment. It's been a long time since I don't eat my Palha Italiana. I really hope you make them at home because I'm so sure you're going to like it, okay? So, bye!